Alright, haven't done a TCC challenge in a while, so feels good to do one now. And let's start this off. A will typically break before B if the attack you're using isn't able to break them both at the same time, so it is good to start with A in front of B. With Aranea, I'm going to use Highwind to add Vital Crusher to the Behemoth, which, as you can see, is adding a good amount of Brave damage. And then I will swap her out for Garland. My plan is to not only kill the Mannequin Warrior of Light before Friend Garland's turns run out, which is definitely going to happen, but if I do this right, I should be able to get the Behemoth to stand up. Do enough damage to it to get that to happen. So that'll be nice. We're building up Jack's debuff. C65 on Jack in order to unbreak the Mannequin, so that way the Warrior of Light Mannequin doesn't get a turn, and Garland can now burst. And thanks to both Aranea applying Vital Crusher and Jack's debuff appearing on the enemy, we're able to do a lot of damage. I think the maximum damage for that is 20,000 each, but that was still good damage. I'm going to Brave attack with Squall, so Squall doesn't get broken, because the Behemoth will oftentimes get 2 turns in a row if that happens. And then the remainder of Friend Garland's attacks will just be that ZLD. And we're going to build back. We're going to hit harder and harder as we build back Garland's burst effect. And now that all that is out of the way, quite a beginning there. Yeah, I haven't done a TCC challenge in a while, or more accurately, haven't completed one, as it's quite difficult to do that when you typically just run budget units, as it's hard to do enough damage, the restrictions from a TCC challenge. So yeah, it's good to do one again. Renzo Kukin, because it gets Squall his next turn quicker. And Ninja Slice, because of course there's only one of them. It's really hard thanks to thanks to Garland's burst effect. I was originally going to run Trey instead of Jack for the Brave damage up debuffs, but and I think Trey is typically able to do more damage than Jack, but Jack can stall out the Mannequin or the Behemoth if needed, because Jack's abilities allow his turn to be moved to right before the enemies. So if I need them to get broken, I can use a few of Jack's skills until they unbreak themselves, and then break them again with Jack. Can't really do that with Trey though, so that's why I think Jack ends up being better for this specific fight than Trey. There's the stand, the recovery, and actually the Warrior of Light Mannequin didn't respawn that entire time. So, good use of the Friend Garland. I think that Battle Crusher debuff actually helped quite a bit. The Behemoth, of course, counterattacks magic damage. However, if the Behemoth is broken, and we use Amidatilion's LD skill, it technically doesn't do any damage to the Behemoth, only if the Behemoth is broken, of course. And the reason for that is it's a 100% gravity effect, so it will not cause the Behemoth to counterattack, so that's pretty cool. I should be applying Trey's debuff, his fire wall debuff here, but I'm pretty sure I forget to, since I don't have to worry about the Behemoth cleansing itself anymore. And yep, totally forgot to. Still hits pretty hard. And after that phone call from the wife, let's continue. Oh, where was I? We're going to Renzo Kukin, and I will typically use it on the Behemoth, so that way I can get more brave damage built up for the HP dump to hit them both. This is a little awkward. I can do just a regular attack with Aranea, but if it doesn't break Warrior of Light, which it clearly would not have, I would not have gotten the free turn. So I definitely did the right thing. And now I can either stall with Jack until they unbreak and re-break themselves, or I can just go into a summon, which is probably what I'll do. Nope. Stall a bit more. It's gonna be a lot of stalling. This Warrior of Light just got broken. Yeah. It's a good time to summon. And now Jack will eat his sword and pull it out of his butt and swing it at everybody. I'm sure that's exactly what's happening there. Feels good to hit hard with Squall. So as far as the Warrior of Light mannequin, as we all know, if it gets one turn, we are all dead. So we don't want it to get a turn. Evasion does stop that though, so if you're lucky, the Warrior of Light mannequin will target Jack, and you can actually give yourself some breathing room by having it try to attack Jack and miss, and therefore miss your entire party, because it deals splash damage. I had that happen once in a failed run earlier, and then the Warrior of Light will just start putting shields up and everything. But in order to deal with the Warrior of Light mannequin, typically I'll use several options of dealing lots of damage. So like right there, I used the summon. I used Ramu. I was definitely not going to use Ramu if the Warrior of Light mannequin was not out. Here I use Air Superiority, but it won't break the Behemoth, so it won't give Aranea Overclock. So I'll have to give that to her on her next turn. But yeah, so I have several tools at my disposal to deal with the Warrior of Light mannequin. First one was dealt with the friend Garland, the second one with the Ramu summon. I also do have Squall's Burst, which I will end up using. And I can use, if Jack has a bunch of skills, I can stall things out with him. Yeah, I was like, oh, no overclock, but now she has it. And there's the free turn. I actually ran this, I think just before this run, I ran this team and triggered the orb when the Behemoth got down to 1% HP left. Would have made for a really cool finish, but unfortunately it didn't work. So this time I'm being a little bit more conservative about Aranea using her Dragoon dive to delay. No LD on Aranea, which is kind of rough. It's a good LD. And no character boards for her, which is why she doesn't hit very well. Shouldn't say she doesn't hit very hard. She still hits hard, interestingly, but not as hard as the others, of course. Yeah, see, like that's hitting pretty hard. Could I have done this as an extreme TCC challenge and have not used Squall's Burst? It's probably a little early to talk about that, but might as well talk about something. And the answer is maybe. But I just didn't want to risk it, because why do a million runs of this just for that? I mean, you'll see. It's gonna get pretty close. I'm definitely not gonna use the burst until the Warrior of Light mannequin comes out again, which it did right here. And I was like, oh yeah, Crystal Idol and Comet. I should use those while the Behemoth is still stunned, and then that will slow down both of them, as well as, of course, Crystal Idol, deleting the turn. And so it's gonna be a long time before Warrior of Light gets a turn. which means I probably don't really have to worry about him. Just really have to worry about that orb. Yep, good time to use Dynamite Arrow because the mannequin is out, so we'll get the most use out of it. Just an HP attack because Jack still gets another turn before the enemy does. And I'm saving my Eald'Narche calls on Squall for when I go into Squall's Burst, which is probably not necessarily necessary due to the fact that Squall is hitting so hard. Yeah, Squall's already hitting for max damage, so the Eald'Narche call was probably not needed. I probably could have gotten away with, I don't know, maybe some higher damage call, or maybe our CLF for speed down. It is late at night and my brain is only mostly working. Piercing Blade to get Jack's debuff on the Warrior of Light mannequin because I am not killing it as quickly as I had hoped. And now I can't let the Behemoth act. I'm not too worried because there's still a Ramu stun on him. Eald'Narche's LD call applies a debuff, the substance or whatever it is for Paradise debuff, which has a defense down effect. In addition to sap, but a defense down effect. So I want to wait until the paralyze effect from Ramu is used before I go to apply Eald'Narche's debuff, or it won't happen. I'm happy to say that for this run, unlike my Abyss run, I didn't have to pull or spend any tickets or anything. I have Garland's LD, and I got it the last time the LD came around. I didn't use Garland when Garland last came out as much as I had hoped. Interestingly enough, Garland's biggest issue was a lack of damage. Garland could hit hard and often capped his brave attacks, but he had the same issue X-Death has, which was no multiple HP dumps. And so others, and low speed, so others would just hit harder than Garland for that reason. And the Behemoth is about to get virtually 2 turns in a row, so this would not be, yeah, that's the right move to make. That would not have been a good time to let the Ramu stun trigger. Squall's abilities are getting a little bit low, but again, I don't want to burst until that Warrior of Light mannequin comes back. So I'm holding on to the burst for that. And I guess there was a part of me that thought, you know, maybe I can do the extreme challenge and do this without Squall's burst. I probably could if I gave Aranea her character boards. But whatever. I'm still happy with a regular TCC challenge clear. Yeah, we're running out of Renzo tokens. I'll typically use that if it's going to jump Squall up. This time I plan on using Garland quite a bit. I already have Garland at 3-3 from the last time when I first grabbed him and used him less than I'd hoped. That speed down aura is really good. Totally underrated. You don't realize how good it is until you use it, but Garland couldn't keep it up for the whole fight before because he only got 8 turns of his Chains of Chaos or whatever it is from using his LD. Now he gets 10, so that's really nice. And now, of course, Garland has multiple HP dumps, so he's going to hit a lot harder. Like, all of his problems have been fixed. I do plan on getting his burst on Young's banner, or I guess it's Dash's banner technically, but I already had Desh's LD. I've got Desh at 0-3 still, so hoping to use him a bit as a budget unit. He was really, really good in the past. In fact, I think, so the first Lufenia stage was Warrior of Light's stage. It was the last battle of Act 2, and I was able to run a 0 ingot team because of Desh. Or maybe that was later that I did it. But yeah, Desh was super helpful with a lot of teams. So here I go into the burst. I'll talk about that for a second. One of the reasons why I don't think I would have been able to do this without the burst is they're breaking out of order. So I'd have to try and use Aranea's re-break to get them back into the correct order, but you'll see when they unbreak, they're going to, see, they're going to break out of order, which means I can't use that to push them back anymore. And Squall always hits all targets due to his follow-up, so if they're breaking out of order, you can't really fix it too easily with Squall. But plan on doing enough damage here to take out the Warrior of Light mannequin. If the Behemoth gets a turn, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I still don't want it to get a turn, and it definitely won't. Yeah, again, it was kind of iffy. I maybe could have done this without the burst. Definitely more likely if I had given Aranea character boards. And the reason I say that is because Jack has several skill pieces left. He's got 5 of his skill 1 and 2, and then even 1 of his LD. So at the worst, I could have used Jack to stall a bit and deal some damage in the meantime. Here, I could have HP attacked or Brave attacked and then gotten the follow-up, but I didn't want to risk Jack not breaking, which Jack clearly would have broken them, but it's just we're so close to the end of the battle, and I'm like, whatever, might as well use all the skills anyways at this point. Didn't want to risk anything stupid happening. Making sure I was within the turn count limit. And then that should do it, folks. And there you have it. So Squall was 3-3 LDBT. Jack is also 3-3 with his LD. Aranea is 3-3, no LD. And for Aranea, there's the party screen. Decent enough artifacts. Can't really tell from there, but for Aranea, I have 2 ingots in her armor. Normally here I go and show how many ingots I've given everyone's weapon, but there's kind of no point because everybody has 3 ingots. So yeah, 2 ingots in Aranea's armor. Thank you for watching.